I'd now like to welcome the Majority Leader of the House of Representatives, Steny Hoyer, to our hearing today, and he is recognized for his opening remarks. Majority Leader Hoyer, welcome to the committee.
Mr. Chairman and Mr. Smith, thank you very much for this opportunity to testify on this very important issue. Frankly, I won't take the time to rebut Mr. Smith's remarks, but I will do so in the future. But they're not relevant. Either when Republicans are in charge and had the presidency, the Senate, and the House, nor are they relevant today. As a matter of fact, America is one of the few countries in the world that has a debt limit, and none of them go through the crisis that we do. There are three others, at least in the industrialized world, go through the gyrations that we go through when we meet the debt limit imposition, which would shut down the government and destroy the economic system in the world if we breached that debt. I appreciate the opportunity to speak today to the need to abolish the debt limit as it exists today. The United States is one of only two major industrialized nations to have an arbitrary limit on the amount of debt its government can issue. But we're the only one for which the limit is even remotely within reach. Denmark had the good sense to set theirs so high as to be effectively repealed. I expect we'll hear from our panelists today about the many ways that hitting the debt limit and allowing for default on our nation's obligations would cripple our economy and likely the global financial system, which is why every major Republican leader and president and every Democratic leader has said the debt limit has to be raised anytime we need to raise it. Those consequences are what make the debt limit so dangerous and such a tempting hostage, The weaponization of the debt limit puts our country at risk. The serious threat of potential default in 2011 caused Standard & Poor's to downgrade America's credit rating for the first time based on its assessment that our political dysfunction could inadvertently trigger a financial catastrophe rather than our economic or fiscal health. Sadly, Mr. Chairman, I share that assessment. I take some comfort, though, in knowing that I'm not alone in believing that we must act aggressively to protect the full faith and credit of the United States. Last September, Doug McMillon, Walmart CEO and chair of the Business Roundtable, wrote a letter with then BRT President Josh Bolten to Congress. It said, and I quote, "Congress has the authority to lift the debt ceiling to safeguard the full faith and credit of the United States and the responsibility to do so." They were right, of course. Safeguarding the full faith and credit of the United States is our responsibility. And to the extent that we are not meeting our responsibility, fie on us, whether we're Republicans or Democrats. We now are operating on a CR. That is a failure of us doing our job on time. Very frankly, in this instance, it's because the Senate has not passed a single appropriation bill. Why? Because the Senate Republicans would not cooperate. Given recent history, it is clear to me that the best way to do so is to eliminate the debt limit entirely, not eliminate the concern about the debt, not eliminate fiscal responsibility, but eliminate the arbitrary and capricious debt limit, which is demagogued repeatedly every time we address it. Short of that, significantly de-weaponize the near constant threat of default posed by the debt limit in its current form, which is what Senator McConnell has proposed. Chairman Yarmuth and Representative Brendan Boyle just yesterday introduced a proposal to that end, building off a process, as I said, first proposed by Senate Minority Leader McConnell back in 2011. They're not the only ones with a proposal. Representative Bill Foster has a bill of his own to repeal the debt limit. The Bipartisan Policy Center has worked with members like Representative Scott Peters and Jody Arrington on a more complex option to replace it. Over the years, Democrats, Republicans, labor unions, business leaders, and economists have endorsed the notion that at the end of the day, default should not be an option. That is why this hearing is so important and why I'm joining you today to make clear that eliminating the threat of default would be an act of fiscal responsibility. It would not eliminate our responsibility, and nor would it eliminate our concern about a debt that is large and growing larger. I thank the committee for holding a hearing on this issue. And I look forward, Mr. Chairman and Mr. Smith, to continue to work with all of you to ensure the United States always pays its bills on time. The option is not available to us, nor should it be. Thank you very much.